Hey, you. Welcome back to the channel. And we've made it. Andrew Yang will have his CNN town hall this evening. I believe it's going to be around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just want to talk about a little bit when I first started to talk a great deal about Andrew Yang. It was probably before the online version of the Yang Gang really got going with this. The idea of the Yang Gang is actually pretty old. It's something that started in Andrew Yang's camp, and it became this kind of online, this big online thing. Of course, during the course of the election, as it grew bigger and bigger, then we start to hear about the Yang Gang online. However, it hadn't started online. It actually had started prior to that, the early days of Andrew Yang's campaign within a close circle of members with Andrew Yang. But it is so important because for the first time, I think most Americans are going to really find out who Andrew Yang is. They're going to be introduced to Andrew Yang in big numbers, unlike before. A lot of people still don't know who Andrew Yang is, and a lot are going to find out for the first time tonight. Myself, I found out about Andrew Yang mostly because of my passion project, using blockchain technology to provide universal basic income to the world, as I feel that's a basic right to citizens across the world. And using this technology, we will be able to deliver this to them in idea. And so that's why Andrew Yang came on my radar very early, and I started to speak about him quite a great deal. So this town hall meeting is very important, I think, to getting Americans to hear him for the first time, to understand him. And I just know when they hear him, Andrew Yang's going to win. I want to play this little clip that was about a interview here that Andrew Yang did, and I think it shows a side of Andrew Yang that we don't get to see much of. And so I'm going to play this little clip, and we're going to talk about that a little bit.
We can all feel it. Like, we're all heading in that direction. That's why I'm running for president. I'm not running for president because I fantasized about ever being president. I'm running for president because I'm an American and I'm a parent, and I can see the country we will leave to our children, and it is not something that I'm willing to accept.
So I thought that was important that we show that clip to you all, because I think with someone like Andrew Yang, it has quickly become this idea that he's this person who only deals in facts. He only deals in numbers. He's very reminiscent of Mr. Spock from Star Trek with the logic thing. And so that's kind of been the going idea about Andrew Yang, that he's this kind of machine. He's this computer. He's this, he's not a real person. He doesn't get emotional. And I think this clip shows us that Andrew Yang has the components of what a real leader is. In many cases, people don't want to be leaders. The best leaders have been the leaders who only became a leader because it was necessary for the people at that time. They didn't have some kind of idea of grandeur. They just knew it was their time to serve the people. There's a story, an old story about ancient Rome, about a general by the name of Cincinnatus. And Cincinnatus is farming. Rome is in trouble. And He stops farming, goes back to the military to lead Rome. He's given all of the power to lead the armies to save Rome from its enemies. And at that time, since Cincinnatus has all the power of the state, he can just become emperor. He can rule Rome the way he sees fit. Cincinnatus gives the power back to Rome and goes back to farming after he saves Rome. These are the ideas of what real leaders are, right? Real leaders aren't these people who think they know better than everyone else, that think they can necessarily lead better than everyone else, like many of our candidates running now and that are in power now. They are people who rise to the occasion at a much needed time when humanity needs it the most. And so Andrew Yang is starting to embody all these characteristics. I am convinced that when the country meets Andrew Yang, that everyone will support Andrew Yang and want to be on board with Andrew Yang. The only thing that can stop Andrew Yang is not the people, but the machinations of the system, how they exist today, right? And those are things outside of our democracy. Those are things that go more into the deep politics and a machine that's been put in place to take control from the people and keep it in the hands of a small few. This is the only way Andrew Yang can be stopped. He will not be stopped by the will of the people. He has the will of the people. I am pretty certain of that. So this town hall meeting is a chance for everybody to meet Andrew Yang. I believe Marianne Wilson will have hers maybe, before Andrew Yang. So I don't know, maybe hers around 6 o'clock or something like that. I like Marianne Williamson. She has introduced, I think one of her most popular positions that I've been aware of is that she wants to deal with the reparations of African Americans throughout America. And she's championed that for a very, very long time. And I greatly support Marianne Williamson on that. The only problem I have with going after reparations, it's very difficult from a monetary standpoint. She has proposed something like $100 billion. When we do the math, that $100 billion comes to about $2,700 each for each African American in the country, right? Divided. $2,700, right? Some people find that an insult. Some people feel like if that $100 billion was put in some type of trust, under some kind of trust, that it could be administered correctly and maybe it could do something. I don't think that $100 billion would even be enough. Comparing that proposal to what we get with Andrew Yang, $1,000 per month, I think for life, would do a great deal more for African American people. In addition to that, the proposal, when Andrew Yang becomes president, he implements universal basic income or the freedom dividend. It would be like at that point, like repealing Social Security, right? I don't think American people I don't think anybody who would try to repeal universal basic income after that point would be a popular candidate or one that would be easily electable, right? And so this will do a great deal more good if it's just guaranteed income per month. That means that if African Americans were given land and for whatever reason that land was later sold off or lost, like what's happened in the past, that would not happen, and many other things. So I love Marianne Williamson's position. I would love for her to be part of Andrew Yang's candidate. And interesting enough, they're the only two candidates I know of who've actually really talked direct to each other and had a very good sit down. I could be wrong. Maybe it was Bernie Sanders and some others have done this, but maybe not to the effect like Andrew Yang and Marianne Williamson. So I'm 100% sure that these two would work well together in a cabinet situation. Also very important, since the universal basic income idea has been gaining so much steam. Many Democrats have started to now kind of they do this quite a bit. It's when they hear one position gaining steam, they jump on it. First it was the reparations for African Americans. Then everybody wanted to talk about their full reparations, and now it's universal basic income under Andrew Yang. Now, now everybody's kind of taking a look at that. They're saying, well, maybe we should do something like that since it's gaining so much steam. So they jump on that. So you're now seeing a lot of other candidates want to propose something like that. I'm very skeptical of it though, because they don't give specifics like Andrew Yang. They're coming to the party late. And they're not promising anything directly, which kind of means, well, if you promise nothing, they're not beholden to give us anything, right? So I'll pass on that. So this is where we're at with Andrew Yang. Great candidate. We can see he's a humanitarian. He's a person who cares about the future, really authentically, I believe, cares about the future of the family in his country. And I believe Andrew Yang, unlike any other candidate, Andrew Yang, to me, comes off as not obsessed with power. He doesn't seem interested in power. Whatever conspiracy theories have been placed out there that Andrew Yang is some kind of tool working for the establishment or some corporation or whatever the case may be, I think it's utter nonsense. I don't buy it one bit. This is where we're at with Andrew Yang. But very exciting. This is just a great Sunday evening. Besides going out and having just a fantastic meal, which is something I greatly love to do on Sundays. We get the Andrew Yang Town Hall, and we also get the premiere of the last season of Game of Thrones, which I'm probably going to talk about too. But anyway, that's all I want to say in this video. Tell me what you all think about Mr. Andrew Yang. If you haven't joined my passion project yet, cryptocurrency, giving everybody universal basic income, costs you nothing to join. We're trying to give you something. We're creating a network that moves a valuable cryptocurrency. It's like a digital money. Every month you will receive some of that money just by joining our program. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else, because that's the idea of universal basic income, right? Of course, you can do more and join our project and help more if you're interested. Any way you can, we'd be glad to have you aboard. And you can join us and help bring universal basic income to over 80% of the globe that desperately needs it. But this is kind of a movement too, guys. So, it's important that we keep this going no matter what happens, no matter if there are plans within plans to stop Andrew Yang, because we know he has the support of the American people on all sides. If there are diabolical plans within plans to stop him somehow, I want the American people to keep this going, and I want the whole world to keep this going. And you can do that by joining Bitcoin MYK Universal Basic Income Project, which is going to provide a digital cryptocurrency, digital money all across the globe for people to have an income basic rights met every month. So be sure and join that. Be sure to go over to Andrew Yang's campaign website and help him any way you can as well, so we can win in 2020. But that's all I got to say in this video, guys. Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.